Hey guys, good morning. While also less people have joined today. Guys, how are you doing today? Can you hear me? Great to hear that. So I think we can continue. Yes, I'm doing great. Thank you. Now, we'll continue in the S3 itself today. I'm doing great. Thank you. Okay. So we will talk about a concept known as cross-region replication in S3. There is something as a cross-region replication in S3. Now, what does a cross-region application or cross-region replication does? As the name suggests, it will replicate your data. Okay, it will replicate your data in some another region of the S3 bucket or in your S3. So what we have is cross-region replication or CRR, also call it as a CRR. Okay, is a feature that allows you to automatically replicate objects from one S3 bucket, which is a source bucket, to another S3 bucket, which is acting as a destination bucket in different AWS region. AWS region. Okay, so we have a feature of CRR, which is there. And what is a CRR is? CRR feature, which is a cross-region replication feature. It is, let's say, there is a bucket which is there. Okay, which is, let's say, in North Virginia region. Region. Okay, I want now this particular bucket, Virginia, has some objects because my client is from North Virginia. So yes, it has some object and client is using it. They hired our company, which is in Mumbai, let's say, which is in Mumbai. Mumbai, we are from Mumbai. They hired us saying that, okay, we want you to do some analytics on the data which is being present. It's a huge data, like millions of entries are there. And we want to analyze and make some assumptions, right, for the marketing purposes. Like, for example, if it's a retail client, as an analytics team, we need to create some models like propensity model, dormant models, which is on the, okay, which is based on the data which is there. We study the previous data, test the previous data, and according to it, we create some models for the future purposes. Let's say What is the probability of a customer not coming to my store again? So all those things kind of a models we created. Accordingly, the company send a marketing campaign to these people. So in Mumbai, they hired us. We are in a different region. But the problem which we are facing was we were facing a lot of latency. Any request which we were putting up has to go to North Virginia and the output used to come up. It's a long distance. So yes, the data loss is also very common and the latency was also there. So this was a big problem which was there. Okay, every time we have to, like, every request has to was taking some extra time. They were also in different time zones. So what we did was we used a concept of CRR, wherein we created another bucket. We created another bucket in Mumbai region, which is connected to this bucket in the real time. Asynchronous connection, real time, it is connected. Which means if I upload anything in the North Virginia bucket, will be pasted to the destination bucket. So if we put any objects in North Virginia bucket, it would be replicated. It will be replicated on North Virginia bucket, and after application the objects, okay, and after application the objects would be independent of each other. What do I mean by independent of each other is, let's say there is an object which is there, object 1, which is replicated here. Object 1 replicated means copy pasted here. Now, let's say after that you delete this client bucket. It will not delete this object bucket. They are replicated. Okay. If you delete it from here, it will not affect it here. So they are independent of each other. We don't have any such connections as such. So this is one of the things which is there. You mean it will be replicated in the Mumbai? Yes, this is a Mumbai bucket. We create a destination which is a Mumbai bucket. This is North Virginia bucket. So what we are doing in the CRR is automatically replicates object from one source, okay, to another source in a different AWS region. Okay, here, okay. If we put any object in North Virginia, it will be replicated on Mumbai. Thank you. Okay, please note it down. This is one-way application or two-way? It will be a one-way application. To enable two-way, in second also we have to enable that application. So it's a one-way application. One would be source. That's the reason one bucket I have written as a source bucket and another bucket I have written as a destination bucket. Can I delete it now? Perfect. Please take a screenshot so that I can delete it out. Now, when I say CRR, what does it helps in? So CRR helps in okay, helps to reduce latency, helps to reduce latency, provide with disaster recovery, and also enhances the performance. Enhances the performance of the overall system. So it will be doing it. Now, here, so may I know which protocol is used by AWS? It uses asynchronous replication. I'm assuming that is what you are asking, David. Does it maintain the same metadata? So the metadata can also be replicated. Okay, so if you want to maintain the same metadata, it can maintain the same metadata. If you want to make it a different metadata, like updated one, that can also be taken care of. Okay. Now, some of the key concepts includes which includes here is, first of all, it has a source, like we can have take care of one thing, source and destination buckets. Okay, so one is source and another is destination. It's a single way replication which is there. Okay, if you want to create two-way replication wherein if I'm putting anything on source will be replicated to destination, if I put anything to destination is replicated to source, is a two-way replication. It does not come in that way. There is a source and there is a destination. Okay, you have to allow me to teach first. Okay, let me complete what I'm teaching, then you can ask your questions. Now, the source, see what happens is the source bucket is where the objects are stored. Objects are stored originally. Okay, and the destination bucket is in a different AWS region. Different AWS region where objects are replicated. This you have to take care of it. Okay. Second thing is the destination bucket should always have appropriate permissions to receive the object. To receive the objects. Okay. One thing you need to take care of it. So buckets need to have appropriate permission to receive the object from the source bucket. Third is both the bucket, both source and destination bucket must have versioning enabled. Both the buckets should have the versioning enabled to use CRR, cross-region replication. Okay. So please take a note of it. So you need to ensure that versioning is need to be enabled in both the buckets. Otherwise, it will tell you or ask you to enable the versioning. Now, please take a note of it. One more important point is CRR replicates new objects. CRR, what it will do, it will replicate, it will copy the new objects and changes to existing objects. If there is if there is an existing object, it will, or any changes if we are doing some overwriting which is happening up, which also includes metadata, and access control list, ACLs, whatever we have set it up. But it does not replicate the objects already in the bucket before replication is enabled. Okay, to replicate those objects which are already there, to replicate those existing objects, we will create a job. We create a job which replicates the existing object before, which replicate the existing objects before CRR is enabled. So let's say there is a bucket which is there. Now there is some objects is there. Now there are some object O1, O2, O3. Now I have enabled the CRR. Nothing will happen. Okay, enable the CRR. Now the O1, O2, O3 will not be replicated by default. O1, O2 and O3 will not be replicated in destination bucket. In destination bucket, we need to enable, or sorry, we need to We have to enable CRR. Okay. Okay. For whatever objects we are uploading after enabling, for whatever objects we upload after enabling, the CRR will be replicated. But what about the existing objects? We will create a job. Okay, these objects, existing objects will be replicated. Objects would be replicated by creating the jobs. This is what happens. Just check it out once and do let me know if you are able to get it. So CRR replicates new objects, only the new objects which are uploaded, and changes to existing, including metadata and ACLs, but does not replicate all the objects which are already in the bucket before the replication was enabled. So to replicate those objects, I will show you this also. We will be creating a job, and that job will replicate the existing object before the CRR was being enabled. So that's the role which it will be taking care of. It will be replicating some existing objects as well. Please take a note of it. Okay. So Roshan is asking, what's the replication time? Is it real time or it's a time gap? So it's in the real time only. Okay. But the time, like as soon as you upload the object, it will start copying that object in some another region. So in that case, the time it takes to copy, because it uses internet to copy it. So it might take some time to copy the data to some another region. So yes, that will be some little time would be there, but as such, there is no time gap. Okay. Yeah, please ask Shyam. Give me 1 minute. Now, any changes to what should that also be replicated by jobs? No. Job, as soon as the job is being done, it will stop immediately. But there is an existing object which is there, and if you make any changes to that existing object, it will be taken care of. Okay. Now I have a question from Janardhan. If an application require a near real-time data availability across the regions, what can be done to improve the cross-region replication? Okay. So if I want, I'm deleting this screen. So basically, to improve the cross-region region replication, we do have some approach which we can actually follow. The approach is we can use Amazon S3 replication time controller. There is something as replication time control, which is there. Now, okay. No, we don't need see, can you please give us a demo on AWS Lambda? We don't need it, no? Pichi. We have cross-region replication. You don't need Lambda to do it, right? Why you will do a Lambda? Why you want to use a Lambda there, like copy? We have a complete feature which is being available in AWS itself. So we will be using the CRR to do this perform this particular task. Now we have this replication time controller which is there. Okay. So what does it ensures that? It ensures that we can enable this RTC. Okay. It will ensure that objects, which is 99.99% guaranteed gives. Okay. Of objects, that is not a right language. Replication ensure that 99.99% of objects are replicated within 15 minutes. Within 15 minutes. And this is applicable. And this is ideal for application that require near real-time data availability across regions. We can also use Amazon S3 transfer acceleration. Now, this speeds up the data transfer to S3 by using CloudFront. Here we can use a CloudFront to do it, to perform this task. So when we will talk about CloudFront, then I will talk about this concept. But yes, this what does it do? This will speed up the data transfer to S3 by utilizing this. We cover it in the CloudFront lab. CloudFront globally distributed edge location. When I will talk about the CloudFront, then I will talk about all these things. Okay. Then, or the small things which we can take care of is, we can also take care of optimizing the object size. Like we can compress the object size and we can upload that object. Okay, replication will work better when we are dealing with the small objects. Large objects can cause delays due to time required to transfer and replicate them. Okay, and what we can do here is we can split the larger objects into smaller chunks, and it ultimately will improve the replication for you. Okay, we can even monitor the replication. We can monitor the replication. So we can use the CloudWatch matrices. CloudWatch basically is a tool offered by AWS to monitor the resources. Okay. Now we will use CloudWatch matrices to monitor the replication lag and troubleshoot any bottleneck. Okay, this is what we will be, or this is what we have. Now, you got it, yes or no? Please confirm. These are some of the things which we can definitely take care of. Guys, I have a quick question. Are you guys an experience in AWS? Because I'm feeling that you have an experience already in AWS. Like, how many of you have an experience in AWS, existing experience? Then why, like, if you have already working in it, like, what's the reason why you have joined the class? Because I feel that when you're working in company, then though they will, working is obviously giving you more knowledge, right? Than learning. Okay, but it's good. Certification purpose. But if when you're working in a company, you can directly go for certification. You will not face any issues. Personally speaking, that depends on the company, I think. Might be. I have I have never done any course. I've learned everything from the company. The company I work for. Everything. When I started AWS, there was no resources, no. In YouTube also we used to find some fancy stuff, not all these learning materials, and we don't have Edureka at that time. When I started, Edureka was not started up. Okay. I think I've answered all your questions. That's good. That's good. You will have a better learning now. With the training, what will happen is you will have a end-to-end clarity on all the topics. So which will help you to understand and create the solutions in a better way. That is always being there. Sign into the console. But I will suggest guys, those who are learning AWS now, they should learn DevOps also. DevOps is going to be a very cloud, and DevOps will be is a very amazing profile. Those who are working in cloud, they might know about that part, that DevOps and cloud will give you a really very good hike and career advancement. Really, it is one of the best thing. I have personally felt that I was working as a solution architect. Okay, I was working for Walmart, and then when I was placed in Netflix, I in Netflix I started working as a DevOps engineer, and then I got around 80 to 90% hike in the current company. So, which is really good, almost double package I got. And I was already at a very high package. I'm from IIT Mumbai. So I'm already from one of the best colleges from India, from the #1 college of India. So I was already at a very high package. So this is what I will definitely ask you. Go for DevOps, learn Jenkins, Ansible, Kubernetes, learn Kubernetes. Go for CK certifications. Do that parallelly. I'm from Powai, ID Mumbai, in easy words. So do that. If you need some help, I will help you out in DevOps side. If you want any reference, do let me know. I will share it with you. Okay. Or if you want to take up some Adureka batch, you can do it. But definitely learn, okay, by yourself or from any location. Just do it. That's a personal suggestion. Like, you will get more salary if you have the knowledge about both of these things. Okay. Yeah, I will share you the references. Yeah, I will share you my mail ID. I'm not doing any marketing for Adureka. See, I take very less batches. I don't get much time. This batch, I only took it because it was stuck and they requested me to take up this batch because they said that you can only handle it. But generally, I don't take morning or the weekdays batches because of my office. I have to rush to the office just after this class. So, but yes, DevOps, I will suggest you to take up. Try to take some weekend batches on DevOps because you need some time. DevOps is more difficult than AWS. So you need more time. I will share you some references. I do have some Kubernetes videos which I have prepared by myself. So I will share you those videos. You can have a look at it once, and I will give you a roadmap. Okay, I will give you a roadmap. But don't go for Udemy if you are planning to learn DevOps. Don't go for Udemy. Udemy just half courses are there. They don't actually teach you anything, everything. So go for like YouTube and all. I will give you a roadmap. Go and check for those videos and go ahead and learn those tools. There are very good videos as well available. Now, I will be creating two buckets. One is a source bucket and one would be the destination bucket. Source and the destination bucket is there. Now, I have to create a bucket. Regarding this AWS certification, just give me 2 minutes. Let me just talk about it. See, AWS certifications, when I say you can go for the AWS Solution Architect certification. Don't go for the Cloud Practitioner certification. It is of no use actually. Okay. So I will give you some dumps. You can just prepare from those dumps and that is more than sufficient. And believe me, you don't need anything. I'm like the topics which are important. I'm really focusing and giving more time on those topics where 100% 2-3 questions comes up. Let's say in this S3 CRR, you get 1 or 2 questions definitely. In RDS also there is a multi AZ region is there, multi AZ concept is there. There also you will get 2-3 questions for sure. So I will also be putting some time there so that you can understand that. So we are actually focusing on those pointers majorly. But you will get questions on first 15-20 resources only. It's not like they will be asking questions on anything. No, they will only be taking up the part or the topics which are really meant for solutions. Now let's move ahead. I will create a AWS Solution Architect. You can go for any C03. It could be anything you can go for. Okay. So C03 you can go for. That's something which I will recommend. Now I will create a bucket. So one would be my source bucket. Any name you can put it up here. This is my source bucket. And just a minute. Just a minute. Okay. So you can go for solution architect directly. Now, this is where my bucket, or I will just use North Virginia. So I can open 2 different regions in 2 different tabs. So one would be my source I will create it in North Virginia. So I will scroll down. It will be source bucket. Okay. I will say my bucket. Any bucket name I will put it so that I can remember it. So my source would be my bucket 2945. We have ACL disabled, which is recommended. It's fine. Okay, we will keep it as default. Versioning you need to enable. Let's suppose I have not enabled the versioning also. Okay, versioning need to be enabled to work on CRR. So I'm creating a bucket and I will create a bucket. This is my source bucket. Okay, this would be my source bucket, which is 2945. I will create a destination bucket also in the Mumbai region. I'll put destination. destination bucket, which is 2945. ACL disabled and create a bucket. Let it create. So I have two buckets. One is the source bucket and one is the destination bucket. Where is my destination? Yeah. No, where is the destination bucket? Gone. Okay, I need to refresh it, I guess. Here it is, destination bucket. So this is my source. Just remember, whenever I'm doing anything, it will be the source and the destination. Let me upload an object before enabling the CRR. So to show you how we can replicate the existing objects also. If there is an existing object which is there, how we will replicate it. So I will upload it. I will add a file. Any file I can add it up here. Okay, any object. Let's say screenshot. This is screenshot. I will be uploading it. Okay, and upload it. Okay. This is the object. Let me upload one more object. Okay. Let me upload one more object here. The source, I will upload one more object, which is this object. We'll close it. So I have two objects, one this and second this. Two objects I have it in. Now, I will be, okay. Now I will enable the CRR number, but the existing objects will not be copied in this particular case. I will go to the management side and there is a lifecycle rules, which I will be covering it after this replication rules. But there is a replication rule, which is a CRR. Okay, cross-region replication rule, which is there. So I will create a rule. In the same region also, we can replicate it. That is fine. So I will go to my source. From the source, I will be creating this replication rule. So you will go to your source bucket. You will be going to your source bucket. Then you will go to the management. Then you will create a replication rule. Create a replication rule, which is, see, like we can have a cross region replication also, and in single region, in the same region also I can replicate it. But for now, I'm just taking up the cross region replication. If the bucket is in the same region, it will be single region replication, same region replication, whatever you want to call it. So now the replication rule name, I can say 1st October replication. The status would be enabled, disabled. If you want to enable the versioning, you can enable it. If you want to disable the versioning, you can disable it. Now, this is my source. My source is my bucket 2945. My bucket 2945 is my source. Is this my bucket is? Now, I have multiple options here. One is like this is where my source bucket is. Yes, I created in North Virginia only. Now I have two things here. Limit the scope of this using one or more filter. Let's say if I want to only copy or replicate some existing, some files with some specific filters. So if I want to copy the files or objects with some filters, with some specific filters, like for example, the file which is ending with .jpg or .pdf will only be copied. That can be taken care of. So, okay, that can be taken care of. You can define the prefix, but I will be applying to all the objects in the bucket. So I will be applying all the object to the bucket. Now we have the destination. Now, what is the destination which is there? I can choose a bucket in this account. In the same account, I can choose a bucket. But it is a possibility that both the account, my destination, I have a source account separately and I have a destination account separately. Source account and the destination accounts are separate. So when I create a bucket, okay, there I need to replicate in two different regions. So I can say that choose an account either if it's in the same account, like AWS account is same, if both source and the destination are in the same AWS account, then I can choose the bucket in this account only. Or if the bucket is in another account, it will ask me for account ID. There is a unique account ID which is always there. Let me show you. Let's say in my account, this is my account ID 975050323630, this which you are looking at the top. So if you select it, it will ask me for the account ID. And then the bucket name I have to put it. But since in my case, my bucket is also present in the same account only, my destination bucket is also same in same account, and you will also have the same scenario only. You will have a one account only. So you will create a browse S3 and you can select your destination bucket. You will select your destination bucket, which is in Mumbai region. See, it will give me, first of all, on the top, I got an error message. I told you very clearly versioning need to be enabled in both the buckets. I have not enabled versioning in either of the buckets. So replication requires versioning to be enabled for the source bucket. We need to enable it. Fine. We'll enable the bucket version for the source. But for the destination, still I need to enable it. So versioning would be enabled in these buckets. That is required. So I have enabled the versioning. If you have enabled the versioning on these buckets by yourself, like while creating or later on also, then it will not give you this error message and you can directly move ahead. But in my case, the buckets were not enabled with the versioning. Then, okay, then it will be taken care of. Now I will scroll down. I will be scrolling down. In the scrolling it down. Okay, one important thing about the billing here before even moving ahead, there is two costs which is involved. First of all, you need to pay for bucket storage as well as accessing cost. So there is a bucket storage and access cost. And there is second one is a data transfer cost. How much data you are transferring, that would be cost. If you are transferring 10 GB of data, that will be costed. If you transfer 20 GB of data, that will be a cost. If you transfer 30 GB of data, that would be a cost. And the storage cost would be there. Let's say if it's in the different accounts, then like storage and accessing would be based on that specific account only. And data transfer is being taken care by the source account. If it's in the source account, I don't have, if I have a single account, then though in a single account, I will be getting both of these charges. So these charges will be applicable. You have to consider it in your mind. But data transfer cost is very low. Very low. It's not a high, but it's not free or either. It's not like they will give you some data transfer for free. It will be billable, and you will get a billable if you're transferring only 1 GB of data also, which is really nominal. Okay. So that you should be taking care of. Now I will be creating a new role. Okay, it will automatically create a new role. One bucket need to talk to another bucket. So for that, we need to create an IAM role. So it will automatically create it. If you have an existing IAM role, you can select that existing IAM role as well. Now, if you want to encrypt with the AWS KMS, you can encrypt your data with AWS Key Managed Service. That is being possible. Now, one of you were even asking me one question in between, saying that, is it possible to replicate the objects in some another storage class? Who was that person? I answered him on the chat only that time because I was discussing something else. So yes, you have that option now. You can see here, you have that option now. Change the storage class for the replicated object. So when the data would be saved in that replication file, okay, then you will, okay, then if you're changing, like if you want to change the storage class, let's say I want that in my destination bucket, it should be stored in the IA. Now, can you tell me one case study or one reason why you have a source as a standard one, standard storage, and you will, your destination should be an infrequent access storage? Why? What could be that reason? Why I can use it? Okay. No, I'm asking for a single word case study. If I am working on a disaster recovery, this disaster, DISASTR, disaster recovery, like this destination is only acting as when there is a disaster coming in the standard storage. Otherwise, I don't have to access this destination. That is the location, or that is where I will be selecting infrequent access or archive. Also, I can put it in archive data as well. If the data, if let's say if this is lost and I don't need the data very immediately, I can put it to some archive location, glaciers, glacier deep type, deep archive as well. Okay. So in that case, I can put it to IA. So you can select as per your need and the requirement. Okay. Anyone which you want. For now, I'm not selecting it. I want it to go for a standard only. If you're not selecting it, it will be sent to the standard storage only on the destination. Now, there is if you remember in the theory, when Janardhan was asking that question, I explained a concept of RTC, wherein I said that 99.99% of objects will be replicated within 15 minutes, within 15 minutes of time. So if you enable it, your data transfer cost will increase. Your data, you will not get any additional in your billing, only your data transfer cost, you will get some 30 to 50% hike, which is really huge at a point of time. So you will have that data transfer cost, which will be increased. So, but yeah, if you need more performance, then you should be using RTC. That is fine. Okay. If you want to delete some marker replications, you can delete it. And you want to replica some modification thing, you can do that. Okay. So if there is a modification which is being happening up, so it will replicate the metadata changes which is going on. But for now, I think that is sufficient. And I can create a bucket. I can save the replication rule. Now, this is very important. Replicate the existing object. See, CRR will not replicate your existing objects. To replicate the existing object, we need to create one-time job. I need to create a job. Like for example, I will take an example. I gave you a job, or I gave you let's say I'm hiring you. Let's say. So that's a CRR. I'm hiring you regularly. You have to work for my company. But I gave you one job saying that, yeah, this is not the part of hiring, but there is one important thing which I need you to do first of all. That's a job going to give you. After that job is done, you don't have to worry about it. Job is like a small task. As soon as that task is done, your work is, you will say, okay, my work is done, and that will stop. That job will stop. So job will stop when the task is done. When the task is done. And what is my task here? My task is to replicate the existing object. So as soon as it is able to replicate the existing object, it will stop. I can also generate a reports. I will show you. When I click on submit now, it will ask me that do you want to submit or you do want to generate the reports. But yes, no, do not replicate the existing object. If you don't want to replicate any existing object, then you will say no. But if you want to replicate some existing objects, then you will be saying, yes, I want to replicate the existing object. For that, a job will be created up. And there's a pricing involved with that particular job. You can check it out for job. What is the specific pricing which is involved to perform the jobs? I will just show you, okay, in some time. So we will submit it. Now a job, now here the job details will be coming up. Now here, if you see, automatically run the job when it is ready. So as soon as I'm ready with creating a job, it will start executing it. Okay. So when selected, job automatically runs without waiting you to start it. If you want to review it, then you can select it. In that case, you have to start the job. Now, if you want to generate a completion report, there's a report, a CSV report which is generated. If you have like hundreds and thousands of objects, you need to check if any job or any particular task failed. Let's say a particular object is not able to replicate. In that case, you can either select fail task only, or if you want to say all the tasks, if you want to send it to the manager, you can do it. But that data is that data is being saved to S3 bucket. The data is being saved to the S3 bucket itself. But for now, I'm not generating any completion report. I will create a new role. Okay, so I will not be generating any role, and I will say that as soon as I save it, my job should automatically get replicated. Let me save it. Okay, this is a job. It is preparing right now. Give it some time. I will come back here to the buckets again. And here, I will use my source and I will upload some more objects, so which my CRR can do. These two objects will be taken care by the jobs. But let's say I have some more objects. Okay. So I have, let's say this is the image which is there. Now this is the object which I'm uploading later on. So I will upload this object, add a file, go to downloads, and this is the download which is there. Oh, spelling is wrong. Fine, but I will remove it. Okay, some more upload. I will upload some more objects, let's say. This is one more object. In the upload, I will add a file. And this is the file which is there. Uploaded. These are the objects which I have uploaded. It should be uploaded in the destination. It will take some time, but you will see. Yeah, see. These are done. Screenshot is also uploaded, and others too will also be uploaded here. So you can see we have a screenshot, Rolls-Royce, this Porsche, and CRR will also work on it and will upload the all the objects which are there. So I have 4 objects, 3 are being uploaded, 1 will also be. So now it's a 4. See, 4th object is also uploaded. So Rolls-Royce is also uploaded here. Right. So if I'm uploading anything here, if I'm uploading any particular image here, it will be uploaded. Okay. You're understanding, right? Yes or no? Please confirm. So if I upload one more object, let's say, this is one more object which is there. Okay. I will just go and upload it to the source bucket, add a file, BMW, and I will upload it. And if you see here in the destination, it will be uploaded. Okay. You give it some time and it will be uploaded here. So this concept, we call it as a cross-region replication. Okay, I'm uploading it for you. Okay, cross-region replication. Everything I mentioned it in this documentation. You can just have a look at it once. Okay. Sharing you the link. This is a link to this notes. And the next link is this. Okay. I hope you have understood. Yes or no, please give me a quick confirmation. Okay, 5 objects, BMW.gif is also installed in it. So this is how the cross-region replication is working. Okay. Will it be charged if you are practicing? No. It will be one in KBs, so it will not be charging you anything there. Okay. So I will just run a poll and we will have a break now. As you will start in next 2 minutes. Okay. Yeah, just give me 2 more minutes and then we'll come to start. Okay. Okay. So I have a question coming from Roshan. If you can spare few minutes, if you spare few minutes, can you explain about the user-defined metadata and the use case? Okay. User-defined metadata. Okay, fine. Let me just talk about it a little bit. So the things which I know about user-defined metadata. Basically, in the user-defined metadata, okay, it refers to the key value pair that you can add to objects to store some additional information. So these are nothing but key value pairs that, okay, key value pairs that we can add to objects to store the additional information. So this metadata, the user-defined metadata is completely customizable and it can be used for various purposes. Like you want to add some extra descriptions, identifying the content type, and if you want to apply some custom labels. In that particular case, or the data for the data organization, in those cases, you can go for the user-defined metadata. Now, user-defined metadata can only be defined from the command line interface only. If time will permit, I will show you. Okay. But yes, some use cases I can say about this metadata, user-defined metadata is I can do some custom taggings. If I want to do some custom tagging, it's same as tagging option only. Like say when you create an EC2 machine, you have an option of tagging, put some tags. Same way you can use user-defined metadata, which can be used for custom tagging. Like metadata can used to add, you take an example, metadata can be used to add custom tags like project ID, okay, department, or some classification to help in identifying the purpose or ownership of data, the purpose or ownership of data. Then we have the tracking of, we can track data life cycles. We can do like we can use metadata. It can track like who has uploaded the object, the versions of the file, the timestamp. All those things we can take it care of. Okay. Sure, Ernest. So this is what is there in the Roshan. This is what we use the metadata for, majorly used in DevOps profiles. Okay. Now, We can also host a static website. Now, what is a static website? Can you tell me? Static website in S3. Can you tell me what is a static website in S3 bucket? Or what is S3? Sorry, a static website. I'm sorry. What is a static website? What is a static website is? Okay. Content can be changed, but it does not interact with the database. See, any website when you open, let's say if you open Netflix, you will have the features like login. You will have the features like sign up. When you sign up, your data is being saved to the database. When you log in, the data is coming from here. If you see or watch any movies, those list is there in the database and it will be coming from the database. That's the reason it's dynamic. Like say, let's suppose I like action movies. So I will always have the recommendation for action based movies. My wife loves romantic movies. So she generally gets the recommendation for the romantic movies. So that is everything is coming from a particular database itself. But in the static, when I say static websites are the website which does not have any specific database. So there is no static, there is no database, only a page is there where hard-coded coding is being done. Okay. So what we can do, we can host a static website. Hosting a static website, I'm assuming you are making the notes, on the Amazon S3, on S3 is a cost-effective and scalable solution for serving web content like HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and images. Okay. So see, S3 is being designed to store and serve the files. It is an idle platform for the static website, whereas there is no need of database, or I can say a server-side encryption like database or some dynamic content generations. So I can say, since S3 is designed, okay, to store and serve files, it is an idle platform for static websites where there is no need for server-side processing like databases or dynamic content generation. Okay. So this is what is being happening up. We can launch a static website in the S3 or via S3 bucket itself. Like we can upload a website files and we can use it. We can upload the website files and we can configure the bucket in a way that we can utilize, or we can host the website onto that particular bucket itself. So what happens is please take a note of it once. What storage is adequate for the dynamic content? Ernest is asking what storage type is adequate for dynamic content. So see, dynamic content is being coming from a database, but you can use EBS. That is what I will definitely recommend. Okay, take a note of it, please. Now we will see how we can host a website in the S3 bucket. Okay, we have a bucket. Bucket is storage, right? So inside that storage, we will be hosting a website. Let's see how we can do that. So when hosting a static website, the compute is not required. Yes, you don't need any computing there. You will be paying for storage as well as accessing. Like the people who would be accessing that website, that cost you need to pay. There is no computation which is required there. Very good question, David. Now let's try. Or what we are going to do, we are going to create a bucket. It would be a public bucket. We will upload an object, which is, let's say, index.html. Okay, which says any website. And now we will enable the static website, which will generate an endpoint link. We generate an endpoint link for us. Okay. Then we will connect it to a DNS server. We will not do it today. We will only do it till this point today. Then, but it's a next concept where we will talk about Route 53, where we will connect it to the DNS and we will host it from the. I was thinking of starting a company previously. So this is the domain I have purchased, the career group. Okay. So this is the complete process. So if you open the careerbrew.com, you will see the website which is being hosted up. So this is a complete process we will be following and we will try to deploy the application in the real time. Okay. But only this part we will do it today. So let's see how we can do it and perform this task. I will be, first of all, let me create a bucket. Now, whenever you want to host any website, okay, so your website name should be same, or your bucket name should be same as your domain name. Let's say you want to host a static website which says akshatthetrainer.com. So akshatthetrainer.com would be the name of the bucket in that case. So I have a domain. You don't have to buy any domain, guys. It's around, I will talk about it in the next class. It's around $10 to $15 per annum cost is there. The careerbeer.com. I have almost forgotten. It's almost a year I purchased it. I never worked on it. So my bucket is, this is the bucket which is there. I will give the name to the bucket, the careerbeer.com. Now, I will scroll down. ACL disabled, ACL enabled. I can keep ACL enabled. And I have to make the I have to make the bucket public. So I will be making a bucket public and I will keep the name of as my domain name. Okay. When you practice, it's not mandatory for you to keep the bucket name as a domain name because you don't have a domain. So nothing to worry about. Okay. Now I will make a bucket public and simply I will create a bucket. Okay. Since this is my unique name. No one has that domain also, and no one has created this particular bucket with the same name. So I can select it. I can create a bucket with that name. Now, here I want to deploy or I want to host a static website. It will be connected to a DNS. This is just a bucket name. Do not think that bucket will create a domain for you. No, I have to connect it with the GoDaddy. I will talk about it, what exactly it is in the next class. But yeah, here I will click on the properties. In the properties, when you scroll at the bottom, you will see there's a static website hosting. There's a static website hosting which is there. We will use this bucket to host a website or redirect the request. So we have a static. We can host a static website. Okay. We'll edit it and we will enable it. We'll say that static website hosting is enabled. You're going to enable the static website hosting here. Fine. We have enabled the static website hosting. Go down. It has two things. One is host a static website, which means we will host a static website, basically a website which does not have a particular database. So we will be hosting a static website here. Okay. Or I want to redirect the request for an object. I will take an example. What is redirecting the request? Let's suppose you have a bucket. Let's say you created a bucket with a name bucket 1, 2, 3, something name. Okay. Your all the files are kept here. All the files are being kept here. Now, but the problem is whenever you're hosting a website in a bucket here, okay, when you're hosting any website in a bucket, bucket should be with a name. You can host it without it also, but yes, you will not be able to connect to the DNS. So bucket name should be with the name of your domain. Now, let's say I have created www.thecareerbeer.com. Thecareerbeer.com. So when I open this, when the request is coming up to this bucket, I want to redirect to the bucket where my files are being present. So this could be my client bucket also. No? It is possible. This is my client bucket where my client is working and uploading the data. And I have created another bucket where all the requests are being coming up and I'm sending a redirect request. But yes, you will observe some latency, some lags will become in this case. So you can redirect the request for an object. So it will redirect the request for another bucket to another bucket. So my data is being coming up to this bucket and it will redirect the request to another bucket. So we will be redirecting the request here. Okay. Now my request is being redirected. And here it will ask me for index page. Index page is whenever you open netflix.com, the home page opens. The home page open. What is that home page pages? Let's say if it's developed in Python, it's index.py. If it's developed in PHP, it will be index.php. So here, in our case, as we have said that we can only host a static website, like HTML based website. So the home page, it is telling me what would be my home page. So when someone opens the base URL, then what page should open? It will be defining in the index document. So I will say, okay, I have an index.html file only. Index.html file only, and I can save the changes. Now, if you scroll at the bottom again, you will see there is a link which will generate. Later on, we will use DNS to change it to the careerbeer.com only. But this is the endpoint which is generated. Till here you are able to understand. I will remove this access denied, but till here you are able to understand, yes or no? Everyone, you are not able to get it? Aurak? Redirection part is not clear to me. I will repeat it, no problem. You got it till the point where my bucket is created up? The careerbeer.com. This bucket is created till here you have understood. Now, I'm repeating it from beginning. Now this is a bucket. Okay, I need to host and we need to host the static website in this bucket. We need to host a static website in this bucket. So to host it, we will go to the properties of the bucket. We'll go to the properties of the bucket and there we will enable the static website option. We will enable the static website option and ensure that your bucket name should be with the same name as your domain name. Okay. Now, I will go to the objects properties here. At the bottom, when you come, you will see static website hosting. We will be using this bucket to host a website or redirect the request. I will talk about what is a redirecting a request, but yes, we want to host a website, a static website. So I will be scrolling down, and there is the static website hosting, which is there. And I will click on this edit button because I want to host a static website inside this particular bucket. So I can click on this edit button. I need to enable the static website hosting, which means I need to host, or this website will have a website or some website data. Okay. Now there are two hosting types which you see, wherein first is hoster static website. Now in this website, so in the bucket, I have created a bucket, the careerbeer.com. This is a bucket which I have created up. Okay. I have some files like index.html file is there, which is the home page. I have other files also. So I want to host a static website in this bucket. So I will say I want to host a static website because my website files would be there inside this bucket only, on which I'm enabling the static website hosting. This you can understand, yes or no? Normally, 100% of, see, it's very rare that you will be working on a static website. Okay. It's not even possible in your companies. But yeah, still, you should know about it. Okay. But here, okay, this part you can understand. Second thing is come up here. Redirect the request for an object. Now, let's say you were practicing one day. You created a bucket with a name. Let's say my new bucket 1, 2, 3. And you uploaded all the website files here. All the website files you uploaded here. But now the problem will come up when you try to connect it to the domain name server. Let's say if you want it to be accessible from www the career beer or any other website name, let's say www.akshat.com. Okay. If this open, it should go and open this content of this website. But the problem is DNS will not work here. DNS says that the bucket name should be this with the same name as the domain name. So technically the bucket's name should be with the name akshat.com. Yes or no? Can you understand this part? I will teach about, we will cover this tomorrow. We will cover DNS tomorrow. Okay. For now, just understand it's a mediator in between. Whenever you want to open any link or any particular link, you want to connect it, then it need to have like this. Now it will connect. So when someone open akshat.com, it will connect it like this. Okay. Yeah, this is a bucket. This is the bucket. I need to create a bucket with the akshat.com. And this is a domain name. This is a domain name, which is there. www.akshat.com is a domain name. We have to configure, we have to use, yeah. See, basically, ultimately, at the end of the day, you should be able to access from a domain only, no? So there you will need DNS. It's not required. We will not be configuring it today, and still we will be able to see the website, but not in a domain, on some endpoint. Okay. But assume a situation, or let's make it little easy if you're getting confused there. I have a files here. All my website files are present here in this bucket. Okay. Now, but my request is coming on this bucket. all the requests are being coming to this bucket. Okay. Here either I should be transferring all the files here, or else I can transfer these requests here, saying that, okay, I'm just taking up the request. It will be transferred like a broker. Okay. Like a broker or government employee, which transfer, or any government you or any person who is acting as a mediator. Sometimes it's acting as a mediator. So in that case, I can redirect the request to for an object. So if a request comes up to this bucket, it will be redirected here to this particular one. Got it now? So it is like, if I am receiving the request, if I am receiving the request on a bucket, we can even transfer it to other bucket. This is what we can do. Okay. Then we can transfer it to other bucket. I think I will be explaining it to you tomorrow. I don't want to rush up on this part. I was thinking it is an easy concept, but if you're getting confused, I will repeat it tomorrow again with a fresh mind. Okay. I want to show you end-to-end lab, wherein my website will be hosted on S3 and it will be accessible from the domain name, from some domain. So that lab I will show you tomorrow. So we will cover this concept tomorrow itself. Okay. I will not rush up on that part, but I want you to check a video. Yeah. Hosting a static website. Just cross check it once. Okay. It's a 12 minutes video. So I'm giving you a homework for tomorrow. Just check this video out. And then when you will learn it in the class, you will have a better understanding. It's a complete hosting a static website. I have explained it thoroughly here. Okay, just have a look at it and then we will cover it tomorrow again. Just a quick question. Tomorrow, do we have an off or do we have a class? Because it's a public holiday in India tomorrow. Do you have any update on the same? If not, then we will have a class. I will check. Okay, let it be. No update? Okay, okay. Then it's fine. I'm not sure about it. Okay. My schedule shows class, then fine. Okay, okay, perfect, perfect. Actually, in India, tomorrow is a public holiday. Like across India, no offices can open tomorrow. Like in my office also, there's off tomorrow. So in India, every office, everything is closed. But it's fine. We will continue it tomorrow and we will see this particular pointer. Okay. I'm not sure tomorrow we have a class or not. I will ask them. And if there is no class, then if you join, there will be no one. So it's fine. Okay. Or you can raise a ticket and they will let you know. By today, I will approve it. Tomorrow, it is the Mahatma Gandhi Jayanti is there all in India. It's in India. It's an Indian thing, not in other countries. Oh, great. Basically, Mahatma Gandhi is a father of the nation. We call him the father of the nation. So that is one thing. Okay, so let's meet tomorrow, guys. It was nice having you all. Please check the video if you get some time. Okay, and we will do the lab tomorrow itself. Thank you. Have a nice and wonderful day. Not much, it's not a very big task. I will cover it, but I will talk about it in upcoming sessions. I think it's the end of like around 20 October, 18 October, something like that. Jeevan. Thank you. Thank you guys. Take care.